So I've got borderline personality disorder, I've got clinical depression and PTSD and dysthymia. So clinical depression is the point where your depression's been there for more than 2 years and it's no longer just that kind of like being a bit sad or like a circumstantial issue. It's something that is there. Dysthymia is when like you've had depression for so long that it kind of just becomes a part of you. So it's like if you had a wall that was painted black and then you tried to paint over it with white, you'd still see the black coming through, and that's still the depression kind of like seeping into your life, even though you've tried to kind of do what you can to get through it. And borderline personality disorder is fairly complicated. When you're unstable, you can be very manipulative, you can be very you want to hurt yourself an awful lot, you get backed into corners and become very confrontational and feel like the only way out of that is to hurt yourself because nobody's listening to the pain that you've got inside. Borderline personality skews your view on your relationships and what people think of you and how people perceive you, because you have this monster in your head that you're trying to contain, and it's telling you that people don't like you. If you imagine your emotions are a dam and you've got all this water of emotion behind you and you've got a dam with a shutter, and normal people's emotional shutter can be completely open or completely closed, or anywhere of like minute millimeters in between. And a borderline personality doesn't have that. We're either closed or open, and the thing about that is that when we're closed, we can't put our emotions into words or thoughts or feelings, and the only way to cope with them is to hurt yourself, because it's the only thing that makes you feel something, because you can't feel anything, you can't do anything because it's just completely in you. And then when it's open, everything comes out and you attack the people that you love and care about the absolute most in the world, because they're the people that have always been there, but eventually those people aren't always there. I always wanted to be friends with people. I didn't really know how to communicate with them because I went from such extremes, and as a teenager you go from these extremes anyway, you know, your hormones are all over the place, but then you throw in this inability to control your emotions and people don't really know what to do with you. So I've got 3 brothers and it was really hard for them. You know, I'd been an incredibly absent sister since I was like 16, and so they spent their teenage years without a sister, and they had to watch my mum and dad fight because of the things that I was doing and the way I was behaving, and it was really hard for them. My mum had a heart attack when I was nearly 22, and so my dad had to do everything. It was really clear for me that if my mum was going through something, that I did love my family enough to kick in and try. And you know, in amongst this 1.5 years of trying, I then got pregnant, and that really just changed everything for me, because there was something else, there was somebody else growing inside me that needed me to be more than I was and to be better than I was, and because he deserves a mother and I deserve him. He's my place in the world and he's my one good thing that I've ever done right. But actually, just because a light bulb comes on for you doesn't mean the hurt and devastation you've caused around you is suddenly cleared and gone. And if those people have, you know, there are therapies available for people that are going through it. There's so much available, and there just isn't support and help out there for these families that are watching somebody they love tear their life apart. The drugs are a tool that you can use. So yes, they're not going to keep you happy and bubbly all the time, but they might move your average from 2 to 3. So you might find that every day you feel like you're a 3 rather than a 2 when you're taking them. And that little tiny jump is just enough to make you see, actually, with the right attitude, I can get myself to a 4. I think mental health is such a taboo, and those of us with mental health feel like we're going to be criticised and judged and told we shouldn't. And actually, like, I feel like if I'm upfront with my mental health, then somebody else, whether it's in the church, whether it's in a toddler group, wherever it is, might hear that and think, actually, it's okay to ask for help for how I'm feeling. It's okay to go and talk to that person, even if they don't know me, or, you know, they might talk to their friend about it. And I just think that the more we hide, the more of a taboo it becomes. And actually, it's quite, you know, people can see me walking down the road. I don't look like somebody that's suffering, but actually I have an ongoing battle in my head. But if I can be open with mine, then that might inspire somebody else to either get help or be open with theirs, and little by little we can change this taboo. Mental health is like if you're knitting a sweater and somewhere down the bottom where you first started you dropped a couple of stitches, and so you're getting up to the top and you're thinking that it's all, you know, coming together nicely, and then one of your stitches starts unravelling and that makes the other one go. And then there's a stitch you didn't even realise that you dropped that starts to go as well. And by the end of it, you're collecting up all this wool, trying to hold it all together and trying to keep it in this nice, perfect jumper. And it's not going to be this nice, perfect jumper, because nothing is perfect. And the stitches that unravel, you can try and pull them back together and stitch, you know, and try and make it look as perfect as it can be. Or you can just accept that that stitch is never going to be perfect, because acceptance is such a big part of it. And the best gift that you can give, you know, that the church can give, is to listen to people. It doesn't matter what it is, but listen to people.